Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, as it should. Because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Listen, guys, we're not here for a long show, okay? We're not. But we're here for a conversation, and a conversation that's been needed to have, and there are new updates in regards to this conversation that we are about to have right now as we speak. Let me just tell you something. This is very interesting. But, and I got the question, could this end the lawsuit? Could this very well end the lawsuit? We're going to talk about all that and then some here in a very, very short minute. But before we get into everything, hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, show some love. Hit that follow button. Subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel because we've already talked a little bit about this, kind of seasoned this on the secondary channel, the Pascal Show clips. So make sure you are subscribed on both channels. Make sure both bells are set to all. Notification bells are set to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is very random or it's very much breaking news as well. All right? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals. Check out PascalMerch.com. Please and thank you. Okay? That would be amazing. All right? I'm sure you're going to find something you're going to love over there. All right? First off, I want to say I'm going to bookend this show as best as I can, first and foremost. And first off, I want to say Happy New Year to every single last one of y'all. Okay? Happiest of New Year's to every single last one, y'all, because I'm not going to be here with you guys as the ball drops up in New York. All right. I'm going to be spending my time with my loved ones and all that as well. All right. But I did tell you I was going to be on to chop it up with you guys about this new filing that happened yesterday. It's very interesting. And by the way, something just dropped. Literally. That's why I was a little late getting started. Because Tony Buzbee now had a letter sent in as well. He had things to say. So we are going to be talking about a few things here. A few movements have happened, which I think is very, very interesting. And this stuff just dropped just a few minutes ago, which is wild. All right. But of course, we have got to get into the meat and potatoes of everything. And it is this right here, just for all of us to see. Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, however you say his last name, with all due respect, not trying to be disrespectful at all. All right. I've just heard it pronounced so many different ways. All right. But his lawyer, or at least his team, has been burning the midnight oil. All right. He has been burning the midnight oil. And I ain't talking about that baby oil. Okay, they've been putting in the work. And of course, he's paying them top dollar. So I'm not surprised about this. Now, here's the thing. Did they actually find 2 loopholes in this whole lawsuit? Wait a second. You mean to tell me in this lawsuit, aside from there being some serious inconsistencies, they're now saying that there could be 2 loopholes that could dismiss this entire lawsuit. Real talk. Now, I'm curious, what's the judge going to do about this? What is Judge Torres going to do about these things? Because literally, these are loopholes. These are technicalities. But let me be real, okay? Let me be real. This is exactly what lawyers do. They try to find everything under the sun. It could literally be a uncrossed T, undotted I, or the wrong period in the wrong area, a bad punctuation, and they could sit there and go, see right here? Technicalities, baby. So if it ain't working, you need to drop this whole doggone thing. And what's really interesting about this is we got to take a little bit of a trip down memory lane. Let's not forget, ever since Jay-Z was named in this Jane Doe lawsuit, saying that he and Diddy committed these unthinkable crimes alongside a female celebrity B that was in audience in the corner of the room watching this whole crime go down. As soon as his name came out, he said, I'm innocent. As innocence. And he was angry about it. And rightfully so. I'd be pissed off too if I found out that I was being accused of something and I believed to be innocent 100%. Let's be real. I get it. But moving on. His team, aside from the back and forths with Tony Buzbee, all right, his team has been sending out all kinds of stuff ever since this Jane Doe came out with her interview, which we all saw, which we all were sitting there going, wait a second. We all had questions. Even the people who are still siding on the side on holding it down for her, saying, hey, I believe what happened to her to be real. You still had a moment of like, everybody had that moment because there are some inconsistencies in her situation, in her case, with all due respect. But as soon as there were holes being pointed out at, inconsistencies that were absolutely exposed for everybody to see, what happened? Jay-Z jumped back on and said, see, I will win this because you could see this woman lied and you're dealing with a snake in the grass, a ambulance chasing lawyer in a cheap suit, right? Paraphrasing, obviously. But he said, I will expose them all. So his lawyer went out of his way to come out with all kinds of stuff. He was filing back and forth, one after the other, basically saying, listen, you saw the interview. There are too many holes in her story, in her narrative. You must dismiss this lawsuit. Well, what happened? This particular judge came back and said, I will allow her to still stay behind the pseudonym. We will continue pressing forward for now. And Jay-Z's team, you better cool it now. You better chill out with all these demands, which basically, by the way, they were saying, hey, you need to have decisions made in a shorter time. We need it done in a day rather than the allotted time that they're usually allowed to get. Right? She said, you need to chill the F out because this is some BS. And Jay-Z, just because he's got a lot of money, does not mean he is above the doggone law. Let's not forget that too. And let's be real. Diddy's doing the same. Diddy was. I don't know what he's doing now. I'm sure there's going to be some new scathing stuff here coming soon. I feel it in my bones from the feds. But outside of that, Diddy doing the same doggone thing, at least he was before, feeling like he was above the law, right? Okay. Now we are here. The judge done spoke and said, don't send me no more BS. Don't give me nothing. I got things to do. And by you sending me things, demanding things is kind of ridiculous. So cool it with the filings, cool it with them letters, because he is not above the law, and you ain't either. Well, it didn't seem like it stuck with him very much, because he kind of said, he was like, excuse me, Your Honor, is it okay if I'm sorry, I just have this piece of paper. Just want to send it to you. No harm, no foul. Don't be mad. I'm just doing my job. I'm going to send this over to you right now. Okay, I'm gone. I'm going this way. This is exactly what he says. Because allegedly he says there's loopholes in the lawsuit. And therefore, if the timeline ain't timelining, and number two, if the jurisdiction ain't jurisdictioning, you need to dismiss this case. We're going to get into it. Let's get into this article. All right. And here's the thing, though. All right. Here's the thing. Do me a favor. Because some of y'all just, I don't know what happened. Maybe y'all a little drunk right now, because I get it. It's New Year's Eve. Whoopie woo. You know what I mean? Some of y'all time went on early on in the day. Maybe you guys are sobered up now. I don't know what it was, but you need to do that real quick. Right there. Hit that like button down below. Dag nabbit. All right? Because we need to start off the new year right. Okay? Actually, we need to end this year right. And then we need to start this year off right at the same damn time, dag nabbit. So please, be ever so kind. All right? Be ever so kind for a poor, hard-working man. And hit that like button for your man. Please and thank you. Thank you. And I will never go hungry again. Gone with the wind. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay? Let's get into it. Hit that like button, damn it. Okay? Please and thank you. Let's get into this, though. This is interesting. Because instantly I go, does this mean the judge is going to look at this and go, what? Never mind. He's got a point here. He's got two good points here. Damn. We got to dismiss. Let's take a look at this. And we got the letter, too. We're going to look at the letter here in just a minute. But the summary is always helpful as well, because all this damn legalese type of jargon. All right. But anyway. Jay-Z's attorney says there are a bunch of holes in this lawsuit against Jay-Z. And he's looking to have this case thrown out. And he's putting in the work. We already know that. All right. So in new court documents obtained by TMZ, Alex Spiro, the lawyer representing the rap mogul, says he's gearing up to file a motion to dismiss the lawsuit against Jay-Z, claiming that this is interesting, that the statute, the timing, the statute of what Jane Doe is using or is suing under didn't even take effect until after the alleged essay. We'll explain that here in a little bit further here in just a minute, and can't be applied against the rapper retroactively. So, as Jay-Z's attorney puts it, the statute was enacted. Basically the start of the statute of limitations start in December 2000. 3 months after Jane Doe claims she was SA'd by Jay-Z and Diddy with that female celebrity B in audience in that room. After this VMA event. Remember, happened 3 months. This is what he says. Happened 3 months before the statute of limitations actually was turned on. Loophole, big time. Definitely a loophole. Even if the statute did apply, Jay-Z's lawyer says it only covers conduct. Here's number two. He says it only covers conduct committed within New York City. And he insists the purported location of the alleged attack could not have been in New York freaking City. So he's saying all of this, let's just say the statute of limitation. Let's just say the judge says, okay, we're going to move the goalposts. We're going to allow this to go. We're going to allow this to play. We're going to keep it moving. We'll allow that little room of 3 months. He's still sitting there going, well, technically, This is when he pulls up his glasses. Well, technically, how funny, because there's glasses off on the side of the website right here. But he's putting up his glasses. His imaginary glasses off the bridge of his nose. He's like, well, actually, if you say that there's the statute of limitations do apply, well, actually, the crime didn't actually happen in New York City. So that still doesn't apply. That's basically what he's saying, everybody. Two different things, two different dumb things. That if he's got a point, those are solid points. Let's move on, though. He says Jane Doe claimed in her complaint she was driven from Radio City Music Hall to a large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway about 20 minutes away. But Jay-Z's lawyer says any residence with that description, if it even existed at that time, would be outside the territorial boundaries of NYC. I got to hit it again because this is diabolical. So he is sitting there looking at this as a technicality. First off, let me just, before, of course, his lawyer doesn't stop there. Of course, arguing any of her possible claims have expired way back in August 2021. Crazy, right? Okay, so before we continue on, because we're going to be going into the filings here in just a minute, okay? But what's interesting about this is, first off, and I even said this on my secondary channel video as well, and I'm going to say it again here too. This doesn't show that he's innocent. This doesn't prove any innocence. But this would be something big and we talked about this in this morning's live show. This would be the perfect time. Well, actually not the perfect time, but this would be the only time that Tony Buzbee, this is the only time that he would have to actually come forward and go, actually, it isn't 2000. It's actually 2003. She made a mistake. But I'm telling you right now, if he ends up doing that, optically, that destroys everything. Everyone's already side-eyeing her because of the inconsistencies to her narrative. Whether you believe it or not, whether you believe her or not, let's keep it a bean. What she said was what was exposed during her interview is very questionable. Like I said, doesn't matter if you agree with her or not. Still, it is very questionable. So add on top of that, after Alex Spiro comes up with this information and goes, splatter, what you say about that, man? Jurisdiction's wrong. The timeline is not timelining. The statute of limitations do not even apply to her because she late or she too early. So what you gonna do? If he was to sit there and go, yeah, well, what had happened was it really was 2003, everyone's going to be like, oh, man, come on, bro. Everyone's going to do that. Everyone. Even the ones that believe her, that are going to sit there and go, oh, come on, man. Ah, they're going to be mad. Because optically, that looks bad. And also, that makes it look even more sloppy on his side. Let's keep it real. That makes it very sloppy, which is already sloppy. Let's be real. You can't clean up slop with more slop. So he has to literally, and his Jane Doe, literally have to die on that hill. 2000. And if it means that what Alex Spiro is correct with, that means that this judge would possibly have to drop or dismiss this case. One thing I do want to say, though, not once in this particular filing, which we are going to look at here in just a minute, not once do we hear Alex Spiro say anything about the innocence of Jay-Z. I'm just saying. everything is, oh, technically it's wrong. Technically, the statutes of limitations lands 3 months before this crime even happened. Oh, and even so, it's already too late for her to file because the statute of limitations ended in 2021. Don't you see what I'm seeing? Now, once he's sitting there saying, oh, he didn't do that, which he kind of already did explain that in his PowerPoint presentation with all those Vizio screens, with his Jumbotron thing. He did pretty much go, hey, he wasn't there. There's no way you could sit there and say that he did it because the timeline ain't timelining. But now he's even pushing the envelope even more and saying, okay, not only is the timeline not timelining as far as the crime, let's talk about the timeline of the statute of limitations. It doesn't fall within the confines of the statute of limitations. Oh, and also, if the crime actually happened in New York City, then where's this White House with a gated U-shaped driveway in New York City? I tell you what, there ain't one. There ain't one that I know of. And apparently Alex Spiro's saying the same doggone thing too. Now there's a possibility this happened in Jersey. They drove across the way, we drove over the bridge. Could have been in Jersey. Could have been anywhere else too. But 20 minutes? Probably not. But again, you also got to remember, you have a Jane Doe that's trying to remember something that happened 24 years ago. That is a long time ago. And anything's possible with her timeline. Straight up. Anything's possible with that timeline. So like I said, I'm not sitting here saying that she is lying. Not at all. But the holes in her story do not help. And hopefully, Buzbee's doing everything he can to get down to the nitty gritty. But the last thing he needs to do is suddenly file or come out with a response and go, well, actually, it did happen in 2003, so we got to move that again. No, the judge is going to sit there and dismiss it like that. Toot sweet. Seriously. Be like, why are we even entertaining this if even her counsel can't get it right? Like I said, you can't clean up slop with more slop. Let's keep it real. Now, we got to get into this because Spiro did put in a letter to Judge Torres. So we got to take a look at this too. Again, hit that like button down below, please. And thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much for the love. Happy New Year to you too. Happiest of New Years to all y'all. 2025 is going to be going off without a hitch. We're going to be coming out the gate, guns blazing. It's going to be insane, but we're going to be holding hands. We're going to be holding hands together, going through this ride together, because this is going to be one hell of a start of 2025. But all I give a damn about, and I'm just going to say this now, is the safety of all of us. Okay, I want us all to be safe. I want us all to be okay. So I hope you guys all have a beautiful, safe, loving, and triumphant 2025. Okay? We here, I mean, they ain't winning, like they're going through some stuff. Okay, Diddy and the Dams. All right. But I'm talking about us as a family. Okay. It's time for us to win. It's time for us to freaking win. So let's win 2025. All right. Nothing but success for all of us. Real talk. And I know I'm going to get gushy and ooey and gooey here later on in the show, but I'm just telling you right now. Okay. Because my heart, my soul is telling me to say it to you right now. Real talk. Let's freaking win 2025. Okay. Oh, and if you say you're going to do something for 2025, you best do it. Okay? And I say that with all the love in my heart. Okay? I love you. You going to write that book? Go and write that book. Okay? You going to lose that weight? Go lose that weight, girl. Okay? You going to stop smoking them cigarettes? You going to stop drinking? Do it. Okay? Don't worry, I'm going to remind y'all this stuff all over again in a little bit because I love you and I want us to win. It's about that damn time. I'm tired of us all being like, oh, 2024 was so bad. Okay, then we need to show 2025 what's up. That's it. Okay? Let's make 2024 jealous. Yeah. This is what you missed, mother lover. And I feel good. Let's win. All right, let's get into this. So, dear Judge Torres, we write on behalf of defendant Sean Carter, Jay-Z, pursuant Rule 3 of Your Honor's individual practices in civil cases to inform the court that Mr. Carter seeks to file a motion pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure to dismiss the First Amendment complaint, FAC, okay? In accordance with Rule 3 of Your Honor's rules, on December 19th, Mr. Carter sent a letter to plaintiffs setting forth the basis for this motion and advising that Mr. Carter would file this pre-motion letter if plaintiff chose to stand on her FAC. Plaintiff was required but failed to respond to Mr. Combs' letter within 5 business days. By December 27th, Mr. Combs interprets her silence as confirmation that she will stand on the FAC as pled. Accordingly, Jay-Z submits this pre-motion letter concerning his anticipated motion to dismiss, which will raise the following arguments. First, plaintiff cannot recover her sole claim under the Victims of Gender Motivated Violence Protection Act, the GMV law, as a matter of law because the statute does not have retroactive effect. Plaintiff asserts a violation of the GMV law for conduct that purportedly occurred in September 2000. But the GMV law was not enacted until December 19th, 2000, 3 months after the FAC claims the conduct occurred, and cannot apply retroactively to create a cause of action unavailable to plaintiff at the time in question. Again, he's sitting there going, listen, it's off, period. The statute of limitations do not apply to a crime that happened in September 2000. She's 3 months off. That's it. Moving on, we're going to skip through all this. A contrary conclusion would violate both state and federal due process protections. So, moving on. I mean, does he have a solid point? I leave that question up to the fam. Keep those comments rolling. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, does the statute of limitations, are we looking at a technicality and why this could be thrown out? And is that justice, would that be justice served? I got questiones. Moving on. Second, even if the GMV law had retroactive effect, it does not to prevail. Plaintiff must show that the violative conduct, this crime, was committed within New York City. And of course, there's examples, so on and so forth. The FAC alleges that the conduct is forced conduct, but does not assert that this conduct occurred in New York City, nor could it. According to the FAC, plaintiff was driven from Radio City Music Hall to a quote-unquote large white residence with a gated U-shaped driveway. A drive that took, according to her, took 20 minutes. This is where the alleged attack took place. The FAC's description of the residence in question, however, combined with public records, confirms that any such residence, to the extent it even existed at the time, would have been located outside the territorial boundaries of New York City. As such, assuming the well-pled factual allegations are true, they are not. They cannot plausibly state a claim for relief. Again, saying, hey, technically, she says in her complaint that this crime happened in New York City. It did not. How and where in New York City is there a white house with a U-shaped gated driveway? Where is it? He's saying it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't exist. Therefore, you gotta drop this mother lover. Third, any viable GMV law claim is time barred under New York's Children's Victims Act, CVA, which preempts plaintiff's GVM law claim. The FAC alleges the conduct occurred 20 plus years ago. Yeah, about 24 years ago, well outside the CVA statute of limitations. Though the CVA was amended in 2019 to create a 2-year and 6-month revival period, that period expired in August of 2021. Plaintiff seeks to plead around this statute of limitations issue by asserting a claim under the GMV law, which contains a longer revival period. Courts in this district, however, have recognized that the CVA's revival period preempts the GVA's law overlapping and extended one. As such, plaintiff's claim expired no later than August of 2021. And then he says, thank you for your honor's consideration of this request. Again, he's sitting there going, listen, all of these things, by the way, the crime happened the crime happened earlier than the statute of limitations. And then on top of that, on the other side, she filed the complaint or the lawsuit too late. 3 years, according to what he's saying, 3 years too late, which is very, very interesting, to say the least. Now, does that mean what he's saying is 100%? No. I guess, the judge is going to have to do what they need to do. They're going to look at that stuff. They're going to do their due diligence, and they're going to come up with their own conclusion, whether or not this is really worth pursuing even further, or if Spiro has a point. But his job is literally to go through all those things. Again, he's already come up with that interesting press conference that he conducted, right? With the PowerPoint presentation and all that. He did that. Now, we already know that he has already sent many letters to this particular judge, basically saying like, hey, as you can see, the timeline isn't right. All this stuff doesn't make any sense. She went on this interview. There were inconsistencies. She even admitted to the inconsistencies. Even her own daddy doesn't even remember picking her ass up too. So you must drop this, Your Honor. Even after all that, the judge still said, nah, we gonna keep on looking. We gonna keep looking. We're gonna keep on keep this moving forward and get it done. But of course, Jay-Z's team, understandably, they don't want him to go and walk into a courtroom. So of course, he's probably sweating bullets like crazy. Stressful time. And he's probably on his lawyer's necks, basically saying, you better find whatever it is to get me out of this situation. This needs to drop immediately. And then they found these loopholes. We're calling it loopholes. Technicalities. Now, him winning or this being dropped on a technicality does not mean any admission of guilt or innocence. It just becomes a stalemate, which is definitely not something that we want to have happen. We want to either have him walk out exonerated or for him to be served justice, rightfully so. So it's not good. Okay, this is not a good situation, and this could also mean that the victory lap that Tony Buzbee's been on ever since the judge said, I will allow her to stay behind her pseudonym, behind the Jane Doe name, and Jay-Z's lawyers, calm the F down, quit coming at me like you own the place. I'll tell you what's what. Even after all that, it seems like all that could be crumbling down anytime now. And it could possibly be that, right? But let me see some of your comments here. Hold on one second. See, I'm wondering about that too. If he's innocent, why not go to court and prove it? But at the same time, if your lawyers are good enough and they're able to find certain things so that he doesn't have to walk into that mug, then he's going to do whatever he can. You got to remember, no matter what, he's in a situation right now where he is hell bent on trying to exonerate himself in the court of public opinion way before the courts. That's why we saw Spiro do the PowerPoint presentation, y'all. That's why we saw all that stuff. Okay? That's why we saw all that stuff. All that whole display, we saw that crap because he is trying to get his name in the court of public opinion cleaned. So they're going, hey, here's it. Here, let me break it down for you guys. The timeline ain't timelining. Yeah, it ain't timelining. You want to know why? Here it is. And we lay it out for you. And it kind of worked for a lot of people. Some people looked at that and said, nah, man. Nah. That timeline, he's got a point. The timeline ain't timelining kind of thing. That's what a lot of people believe. And of course, seeing that interview, everyone's like, oh, damn. Whoa, inconsistencies. And the daddy don't remember this. Either daddy got paid off, or daddy don't know, or daddy an a-hole. There's only three choices. Okay? Or, no, four. Or daddy on a mental decline. Alzheimer's, dementia, God knows what, right? But those are the only four options. And everyone's choosing their own route, their own road, right? Everyone's choosing their own road. Now, Tony Buzbee just dropped this new filing. Literally, it happened 5 seconds before I was about to go live. So I haven't really seen all of this, but we're going to look at this because I think this is going to be interesting as well. And this is in response to Alex Spiro's filing that was made yesterday. And I will say this. I mean, Jay-Z is in trouble. Unfortunately, however you see where he sits in your mind, as far as him being guilty or him being innocent, he's screwed no matter what. He's screwed no matter what. Because now he is tagged on to this lawsuit, whether this is true or not, whether those allegations are true or not. Now he is tagged on to that, period. Like I said, it's that scarlet letter being branded onto his chest. It's an unfortunate situation. And then now, if you didn't notice already, there's all these articles coming out being like, Beyonce is in shambles, and they're contemplating divorce. She's trying to distance herself from her husband, Sean Carter. There's all this that's going crazy on the internet streets right now. People saying stuff, articles being concocted, things that are being written. Oh, Solange is praying for her sister as she stands there, supporting her sister. It's getting ridiculous. And like I said, it is just the beginning. It is just the beginning. It's just the beginning. And there will be more allegations, more people speaking and all that, whether or not they're true. I really don't think Beyonce and Jay-Z are having marital problems. Okay, I'm going to keep it real. But that's what they're putting out here on the in the rumor mill. I don't think that that's real. But yes, because of everything that's going on, yes, I can only imagine Jay-Z being stressed out right now, understandably. Okay. I'm sure it's putting a little bit of a strain on them, but I think they're going to trudge through this and soldier through this together. That's what I think. I don't think that there's any marital problems and things. Nah, I don't see that at all. I don't. He has to be caught on tape, y'all. I'm being real. He's going to have to be caught on tape. Caught on tape, and then it would be a wrap. But that's not what we're seeing here, right? We're not seeing that. That's not what we're seeing here, y'all. So we're going to see what happens here. But we got more. We got more. We got more. So this is a letter from Mr. Buzbee to Judge Torres in response to what Spiro said in that letter. So, Your Honor, I write on behalf of plaintiff Jane Doe in response to defendant Jay-Z's letter dated yesterday, pursuant to which defendant requests leave to file a motion pursuant to the Federal Rule of Civil Procedure to dismiss plaintiff's First Amendment complaint, the FAC. Remember, it's FAC GMV, okay? I'm abbreviating as much as I can. Defendant states his intention to move for dismissal on the grounds that Doe cannot pursue her claim under the GMVA, okay? Because the GMVA does not have retroactive effect. However, neither the Second Circuit nor the New York Court of Appeals has endorsed this reading of the GMVA. In support of his argument, defendant cites a trial court order decided on an unopposed record, which is merely persuasive authority. Then he's using these examples. Okay, plaintiff failing to address GMVA retroactivity issue. I'm sorry. So defendant's argument as to the GMVA is unpersuasive, as it is contrary to the law's primary intention to make it easier for victims of gender-motivated violence to seek civil remedies in court, not, as defendant would have it, make it harder. New York City passed the GMVA, quote unquote, in light of the void left by the Supreme Court's decision in the United States versus Morrison, New York City, NYC admin code, whatever. Morrison struck down the federal right of action for victims of gender-motivated violence under the Violence Against Women Act, the VAWA, okay, holding that Congress lacked the authority under the Commerce Clause or the 14th Amendment to pass such a remedy. Moving on. The Supreme Court, however, urged local governments to provide a remedy to women like Morrison who had been brutally AR'd, as, quote unquote, no civilized system of justice could fail to provide her a remedy. New York City rallied to the call and passed the GMVA. Moving on. The city council recognized that gender-motivated violence is widespread throughout the United States and, quote unquote, that 3 out of 4 women will be the victim of a violent crime sometime during their lives. NYC admin code blah. The council also concluded, quote unquote, that victims of gender-motivated violence frequently face a climate of condescension, indifference, and hostility in the court system. The council sought, therefore, to create a private right of action for victims of gender-motivated violence to, quote unquote, resolve the difficulty that victims face in seeking court remedies by providing an officially sanctioned and legitimate cause of action for seeking redress for injuries resulting from gender-motivated violence. Now, one thing is, hold on, let me finish this part. It is fundamental that in interpreting a statute, the court should attempt to effectuate the intent of the legislature. Now, one thing I think is interesting about this is, and one of the questions I do have is that just because it doesn't fall within the statute of limitations, let me ask this. Just because it doesn't land in the statute of limitations doesn't mean that it didn't possibly happen. That's number one. Number two, that's still a crime. Number three, she is filing a civil lawsuit. It's not a criminal lawsuit. So does the statute of limitations still apply for a civil lawsuit? Because right now we have yet, remember, Jay-Z himself even said, hey, if you should be going after me criminally, not civilly. Don't you think? Right? Then isn't that what happened? So this is not a criminal lawsuit. So as far as the statute of limitations, does it even matter right now? Think about it for a second. Does it even matter? So that's very interesting as well. And for him to sit there and go, oh yeah, statute of limitations, where it all went down doesn't even apply. It's still just because, and that's the thing. I even said it on the second channel. I'm like, wait a second. Just because the statute of limitations don't land within 3 months of the start of the statute of limitations, it doesn't even matter. Because she could sue him for this civilly. Criminally, I can see what he's talking about. As far as him being attacked or being sued or seeing the inside of a prison cell for a crime that he's being alleged of doing, sure, statute of limitations don't apply to this situation. Sure. But she's filing civilly. Does it matter? Do those rules still apply to a civil lawsuit? That's something I'm kind of curious about. And maybe somebody out here can see. Somebody can see that. You know what I mean? Because it just doesn't make sense. He's like, therefore, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, congratulations, Spyro. But still, the statute of limitations doesn't apply to a civil lawsuit. So that doesn't make any sense. So and of course, you know, when reading this, which of course is like giving us a breakdown and a history of the start and stop and how the GMVA and all these things, you know, were implemented. It's like, you know, or enacted. It's like, okay, great. But at the same time, does this matter right now? As far as that goes, the statute. Anyway, let's continue on, you know, and play nice in the chats, guys. Play nice. Play nice. I'm watching. Let's continue on, though. It's very interesting, y'all. Very, very interesting. So the council intended the GMVA to make it easier for victims of gender-motivated violence to seek court remedies and intended the same when it passed the 2022 amendment to the law. blah, blah, blah. In summary, there's no timeline on processing trauma. Boom, right there. I'm going to highlight it right there. That's exactly what I was talking about. I was like, wait a second. Does it even matter now? Doesn't matter. And apparently it don't matter. But continuing on, again, in summary, there is no timeline on processing trauma. So again, she can sue him civilly whenever she wants. It could have been 2 years or 22 years or 25 years or 55 years from now. And if they're still on this blue marble spinning around this hot sun, she can still sue him civilly. This is what at least Buzbee is presenting in his argument here. Similarly, defendant also intends to seek dismissal on the grounds of any viable GMV law claim is time barred under New York's Child Victims Act, the CVA, which preempts plaintiff's GMV law claim. However, this court in Doe versus Gooding found that local anti-discrimination laws are generally not preempted by state law in New York. Blah, blah, blah. This court rejected. Very same argument defendant makes here. Moving on. Finally, defendant intends to seek dismissal on the grounds that the conduct alleged in the FAC could not have occurred in New York City based on, quote unquote, plaintiff's description of the residence in question, combined with public records, confirms that any such residence was located outside of New York City. As defendant seeks to rely on evidence outside of the pleadings, which would transform a motion to dismiss to one for summary judgment, and as discovery it not yet underway. Ooh, this is important. I'm going to reread this in a second. It is respectfully submitted that defendant's proposed motion is procedurally improper and should be denied. Let me just say that again, because this is very important too. Discovery, proof, evidence is absolutely pertinent to this situation. What he's saying here is, let me say this. He says, as defendant seeks to rely on evidence outside of the pleadings, in other words, the interview that Jane Doe had, he's literally looking at that and saying, that's evidence enough to drop this and dismiss this. He's been doing that, has he not? As soon as that interview came out, he came out guns blazing and going, you need to drop this, judge. You need to drop this. Hey, judge, you need to drop this. Drop this, judge. Did you drop it yet? You need to drop this, judge. Judge, you saw the interview. You need to drop it, judge. That's all he's been doing. Then after that, he went and did a press conference, PowerPoint press conference saying, see, and you can see, therefore, the timeline ain't timelining, right? You heard the interview. Saw fake news. Right? So he's basically saying the same thing here. This is what Tony Buzbee is saying. He's saying, hey, I'm mine. Just because she said something in an interview still does not apply to this doggone case, bruh. Ain't that something? So he's saying, hey, you can do all you want. Just because she said something in an interview does not mean that we don't have evidence. And you don't know anything yet because you ain't seen nothing yet because we ain't even gotten into discovery yet, son. So what you on, bruh? You jumped the gun and everything, son. I need to be their translators. Like, straight up, I need to be their translators. Okay, like Obama, like, did you see the Key and Peele skit where Obama had the translator, right? I need to be like legal, like lawyers, translators, all right? I'll make it entertaining as hell. But that's basically what he's saying. You went and saw an interview, and just based on that doggone interview, you are going to sit here and say, okay, let's go. Drop all this ish, man. Your Honor, drop it. Well, what about all the discovery? What about all the evidence? What about all the stuff? You are taking something from a chopped up and screwed interview on NBC, okay? And you're saying that's evidence enough. Well, we got more, baby. So why don't we wait and see what's going on with the discovery that is yet to be underway, Your Honor? That's what's going on. Let me say it one more time. As the defendant seeks to rely on evidence outside of the pleadings, which would transform a motion to dismiss to one for summary judgment, and as discovery it not yet underway, it is respectfully submitted that defendant's proposed motion is procedurally improper and should be denied because they jump in the gun. That's what he's saying. Y'all are jumping the gun. Like we playing double dutch and you ain't counting. Like you just want to jump all in and get tangled all up in the jump rope. Wait for your time. Okay? Then you can go jumping in and out of that doggone double dutch. But you jumping way too early, girl. We hadn't even started the rhythm yet. You just jumping right in that mug thinking you know what the rhythm is. Dag nabbit. Wait your turn, son. Wait your turn. In light of the foregoing, plaintiff respectfully requests the court to deny defendant's request to file a motion to dismiss. Yes, indeed. Yes. Gone with the wind. Anyway, so what say you on this? This is very interesting. Okay, it's the ending for me. The ending is everything for me. All right, because in the beginning it's just like 4 years ago, GMVA was brought forth in the courts of New York. And it's great. Okay, we got all that legalese crap. All right, technicalities all day long. At the end is the most important stuff. In my personal opinion, it is you can miss me with the nonsense about the jurisdiction in which this whole thing went down. Also, let's not forget, this is kind of important too. Okay, right here. I'm going to highlight that too. Okay, he says in summary, there is no timeline on processing trauma, baby. So just because she decides to do it within or late, a few years later than the statute of limitations, it still doesn't matter. It still doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This still should be looked at. That's what he's pleading. He's going, Judge, this still needs to be looked at. Do the right thing and let this keep going. Because just because she's a little late does not mean that she doesn't deserve the same amount of justice as anybody else. Also, at the same time, let me just say this too. Okay? Let me just say this too. It's a civil lawsuit. She's not going after him criminally. She's not going after Diddy either criminally. It's a civil lawsuit. Do the statute of limitations still apply on a civil lawsuit? Now, again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not. But I would assume that it would not apply in a lawsuit, in a civil lawsuit like this one. And he's right. It is sloppy. That this particular, I'm going to be real. Don't at me. This is just opinion. But I agree. He's been sloppy too. He's been hella sloppy, Tony Buzbee. Spiro, it's sloppy for you to sit there and go, see, you need to drop it. You need to drop the timeline ain't timeline. The interview says everything. It's like, wait a second. Now Tony Buzbee's like, no, we haven't even gotten into the place where we talk about proof, evidence, discovery. We haven't gotten there yet, but you're looking at an interview that's been chopped up. Let's be real. It has been. It's not like we heard everything that came out of her mouth. Replay the interview one more again. It is not a continuous podcast where we're just sitting there across from Joe Rogan smoking weed going, well, and that's why I love the, that stuff. And, go buy my kettlebells and, I'm a carnivore diet. And then she gets to talk her stuff uninterrupted and not cut up. It is a literal 5-minute piece that's been cut up. She had more conversation with that interviewer and then it was chopped up. And then even so, the interviewer goes, oh, there's so many inconsistencies. Let's talk about that too. It's true. It is an interview that was manipulated. I'm sorry for saying it like that, but if you really think about it, I'm not sitting here saying that the Jane Doe was manipulated. She tells her piece. But if you watch the interview, she's not saying everything. We don't hear everything. It is a full-on interview that I'm sure lasted 20 minutes. That was shaved all the way down to about 6-7 minutes. There's a lot more that was on the cutting room floor, I'm sure, that was not seen to the public. So it's the same thing. You only see those pieces. And of course, an interview can be cut 15 different ways. Think about that too. 15 million different ways. If it was done differently, if it was cut differently, they could have made her seem like she was hilarious, like she was the next Robin Williams. You never know. I'm being dead serious. It's about how you edit it too. We ain't dumb. We ain't dumb. But no matter what, inconsistencies for sure. She even says, yeah, we did talk to her. She did admit that there's inconsistencies to her story, but she does say what happened to her did happen to her. And that's true. Just because there's inconsistencies does not mean that she's lying. But at the same time, we're looking at a chopped up and screwed interview that is presented to us to consume with our eyeballs. And then the same thing with this lawyer. He saw the same doggone interview and then he ran with it. And now he's saying, we need to drop this, Your Honor. Well, I get why you say that. But at the same time, they haven't gone through everything yet. Imagine if he put this out after discovery. If he filed a letter, filed a motion to dismiss this case after the discovery. And he's like, yo, they have nothing. They have nothing. Your Honor, they have nothing. Please drop this. Please dismiss this. But we have yet to see what they actually have. Remember that. We don't know what kind of proof or evidence they actually do have. And if they do have something that's smoking gun, then those two gentlemen, those two guys have a lot of splaining to do. They do. If there really is some sort of evidence out here that Tony Buzbee actually has. And it also depends on if he actually has evidence too. Let's not forget that too. Because he can write this all day long and be like, well, we ain't been to discovery yet, Your Honor. And then the judge says, so where's the evidence? It's coming. It's coming. That's not good. So hopefully he does have whatever he says he has. Because he can't be sitting there talking crazy. He can't. So again, he's got a point. Buzbee's got a point. He does. Timeline, though, as far as Spiro, I get it too. He's got a point, but I'm going to keep asking that. Statute of limitations, does that still apply? Does that still apply for this civil lawsuit? Something to think about. Something to think about for sure. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Now, that is true. They had a lot of stuff before they raided Diddy. They did. Okay. But at the same time, no one was looking at Jay-Z in that kind of way. No one. So I don't know. I feel like if there was something with Jay-Z in that kind of way, I feel like the feds would have been all up in his ass. All up in his ass. Okay. But that's not the case here. Again, this is a possibility of him getting caught up in the vortex of Diddy, or he could have very well done this. Only God knows, right? And only time will tell us what is true and what is not. As far as Jay-Z goes, Diddy, he's in a whole world of trouble already. We'll see what happens with Jay-Z. Okay, but I'm side-eyeing all of it. I really am. I'm side-eyeing all of it. I want to see proof. It's all about proof. We need smoking gun evidence. We need the discovery for this particular lawsuit to be presented for them either to shut the hell up or for Spiro to continue squawking. That's what they need to have. But we'll see. We gonna see. Okay. But guys, I do want to say this before we wrap. Okay. First off, I appreciate all y'all for being here and watching this particular show, because I know a lot of y'all have things to do. A lot of y'all have, a lot of y'all are trying to get ready for New Year's Eve, trying to, rock in the new year with your loved ones and all that. And the fact that you're watching with me right now does mean the world to me. And I know I just said it in the middle of the show, but I felt it in my bones. I felt it in my soul. And I'm going to say it again right now. Okay. This is the year where we all kick 2025 in the butt, where we claim this new year. All the bad stuff, all the drama, all the crap, all the mucky muck that you dealt with in 2024, we're going to leave it all behind. And we're going to start this new year with a new, fresh set of attitudes, fresh pair of eyes, a new vision, and new hope. And I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. If you say you're going to quit smoking, do it. Just do it. No more excuses. No more BS. Rip the doggone Band-Aid off. If you are going to quit drinking, if you're going to write that book, if you're going to get in better shape, you're going to lose some of that weight, you're going to, whatever it may be, start that YouTube channel, whatever it may be, shut up with the excuses and get the job done. That's it. It's now or never, really, because every year we all do that same thing. Oh, I'm going to run more, or I'm going to start eating better, or I'm going to be better. I'm going to show my kids, spend more time with my kids, whatever it may be, right? Instead of going, oh, yeah, that never happened, but, because of the things and how my accountant is set up and everything, I wasn't really ready for no. F all that. F all that. Forget all that. What you should have done in 2024, you can now do in 2025. Fresh new start happens in just a few hours. Kiss this year goodbye. It's been a tough one for a lot of us. Some of us have had triumphant years, a triumphant year, a lot of successes, so on and so forth. And I commend you. I congratulate you on that. But now it's time to take it up another notch and kick this year even more in the butt. For those of y'all who have been succeeding in what you said you were going to do in 2024. Now it's time to add a little bit more challenge to yourself. Just a simple, easy challenge. Just turning it up a little bit more of a notch. That's it. That's it. And holding yourself doggone accountable, period. Like I said, write that book. Hey, if you're going to take up photography classes, do it. If you're going to write that, if you're going to paint that painting, if you're going to learn how to draw, if you're going to learn how to play the guitar or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it may be, just do it. It's not going to be easy, but you're just going to learn. You learn over time, okay? Bit by bit. For those of y'all who want to start running, it takes time to be good at running, okay? It sucks in the beginning. It always sucks. It sucks in the beginning, though, for real, until you start to get acclimated and you start getting used to it. It's the same thing as when you start a new diet or anything like that. Especially because right now everybody's like, I want a 6-pack. I want to look slim thick. Okay, cool. If that's what you want to do, yeah, it's going to suck in the beginning, but then you're going to get used to it, and you're going to see results. But you got to wait for those results because it's not overnight. It's the same thing on anything that's worthwhile. It takes a little bit of time. So don't give up on those things 2 weeks into it. Hold yourself accountable, set a goal, hold yourself accountable, and stick with it. Nothing worthwhile is easy. Because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worthwhile. Let's go. Okay? Period. Shelly, thank you so much for the love all the way in Australia. Thank you so much, love. New York's toll on statutes of limitations for civil claims is now over. On November 3rd, 2020, Governor Cuomo signed Effective Order 202.72, which lifted the toll. So there are no statutes of limitations in New York for crimes committed. So it doesn't even apply to this case. Interesting, don't you think? So again, him going out here going, therefore, it doesn't apply to my client. You must drop this. It doesn't matter. Ain't that crazy? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Hamburger indeed. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Shelly. I appreciate that information. All right. But again, that's something else. So again, did he just waste his time breathing out, blowing a lot of hot air at nothing? And does the judge know this? And we might see that in her response, in her ruling, in her decision, whatever it may be. That's going to be very interesting. Wow. Okay. Goddess Witch just said, I lost 230 pounds. Woo! This year alone? Damn. Okay. I know it sounds crazy, but next year I'm getting a tummy tuck. Okay. Do you, boo-boo? Do you? Congratulations on that. That's beautiful. Okay. That's beautiful. Congratulations. Okay. As Dub said, you go, girl. I'm down 68 pounds. Let's go. See what I'm saying? That's it. Okay. Let's go. That's it. Let's freaking go. Hold yourself accountable. Stick to the plan. When it gets sticky, it gets weird, gets tough, push through. I want us winning. All of us winning in 2025, period. Because we can. We can. As long as it's constructive, as long as there's a plan and you're putting it together in the right way. It's not the whole, I'm going to keep getting drunk and keep getting wasted and kicking it every day. You're not going to get anywhere, y'all. You're going to be stuck in the same spot, if not worse, by the end of 2025. Don't be dumb. Okay? Please don't be dumb. If it's an addiction situation, focus. Find something that's constructive, that you love, that maybe you want to get better at for yourself. Find those groups, those organizations that can hold your hand through those tough times. Find the right counseling, whatever it is that you need it to be. Okay? Because I'm trying to list everything under the sun that I can think of. I just want us to win. It's time for that. It's time for us to have all of our dreams come true this new year. So it's time to go and get it. Anyway, guys, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really means a lot. Again, happiest of New Year's to every single last one of y'all. You guys are all incredible. I love all of y'all. Thank you so much for your energy. Thank you so much for your time, your laughs, your comments. Real talk. Without you guys, there'd be no show. Remember that. Without you guys, there'd be no show. So thank you guys. But one last thing, one more time before the end of the year. Our last request before the end of the year. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you can. If you are watching on other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, show some love. Hit that follow button. Subscribe here on my main channel. Go to my secondary channel. Crush that subscribe button on my secondary channel. It's called The Pascal Show Clips, please and thank you. That'd be amazing. Let's not forget, hit that join button down below. Check out my Patreon. Check out my locals as well. And, of course, you can check out PascalMerch.com. Dagnabbit. I'm sure you're going to find something really dope over there, okay? But here's to a new year. Happy New Year to all y'all. Let's make 2025 something worth to talk about. Let's make it worthwhile, y'all. I'll talk to you guys soon. Love y'all. Have a great one. Oh, and one last thing. I need to do this. Please do me a favor. If you are going to go out, please get a DD, a designated driver, get an Uber, get a Lyft, whatever it may be, get a yellow cab, whatever you got around, okay? Just make sure you get there and back in one piece. Let's not have any tragedies. Let's not end or start the new year with a tragedy. So please, drink responsibly, get there and get back home safe. All right, guys. Happy New Year to every single last one of y'all. I'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. You guys are all a blessing. And I can't wait to see you guys next year. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. We'll talk soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.